Hey everybody, this is Joyce Chow for the Atlas Post, and today we are going to be talking about the ABC Act. Now, this is a proposal that is in Congress right now, and it is proposed by Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib from the 13th District of Michigan, and she's doing this in partnership with, Pramila Jayapal from WA7, that would probably be Washington District 7. So they are introducing this bill to deliver universal recurring payments for the COVID-19 relief, and it is $2,000 a month during the crisis and $1,000 a month for a year afterwards to every person in America. And what's unique about it is that it is for every person in America. So for any of you that are feeling left out, yep, you count as every person in America. Now, this is of course the press release on their website where they are sitting there talking about it, and it also is to uplift the unbanked and underbanked communities by creating a buffer for people who have seen their cost of living rise for decades as their wages have stagnated. Now, for those of you that are going, what's the unbanked and underbanked communities? Well, believe it or not, everybody does not have access to a banking account, and I have known some of these people, and it's just for whatever, identity theft or whatever, they don't have a bank account. They don't have access to a bank account. So this gives them a way to do it. And it says who would be eligible, because that's of course what's most important to everybody is, can I get it? Okay. So this is to guarantee that no one is left behind. And as it's written, the bill would provide $2,000 prepaid debit card to everyone, including taxpayers, dependents, non-citizens, individuals who do not have a bank account, Social Security, or permanent address, and people living in unincorporated territories or protectorates, and Americans living abroad. And this proposal gives an example of a family with 4 dependents being eligible to receive a prepaid debit card for each taxpayer and each dependent. A couple with 2 children would receive 4 debit cards at $2,000 each for a total of $8,000. Now, I don't know what limit that is, whether it's like people over the age of 16. I'm going to tell you, it's like, on some of these places, $8,000, that's a lot of money. And especially if you live, okay, I live in California, so the cost of living is higher. But if you live somewhere like Iowa or Idaho or Alabama, $8,000, boy, look at what that's going to do to our economy, right? These people, the standard of living does not cost as much. This also gives it for non-citizens, which include permanent citizens, undocumented individuals, and temporary visitors whose stay exceeds 3 months. So these visitors, now I don't know if this includes, because when they closed it and didn't allow travel from back to China, I know there were people here that were students from overseas that couldn't go back to their homes, and they were stuck here. And housing was an issue, because some of these families, I've been reading reports of the university students, when they closed down, they had nowhere to live. Or maybe they went home and their family was set up thinking that they were going to school. They had no place for them to go. So it's a little bit challenging. And what's unique about this proposal is they have prepaid debit cards. And you're probably going, prepaid debit cards? Well, I had heard that now I'm going to say, this is hearsay because I'm not a student. Although I'm a student live. I'm not at university, and I do not have a student loan. And I've heard that the student loans, that they just give them a debit card to go ahead and utilize to access their funds so they can pay for everything. Same thing goes with people on food stamps, which I was not aware of. As you can tell, I've just heard of this. I have not had personal experience, but I've just heard that this is how it's being done. So that people with food stamps just use a debit card, and it would allow them to get things or not allow them to get things. And so this kind of reminds me about that. So that makes it actually kind of easy, because they talk about how would the money be distributed: direct mail, in-person pickup, and at-risk outreach. Now here's the part that's totally unique, is that the ABC Act would be paid for with 2 $1 trillion coins. What? Where's that? Because of course, I'm just looking at all this going, what's going to happen to all the taxes, the value of the dollar? I've had friends that are overseas are talking about how the dollar has decreased because we're doing so much, help for our country, for the people. So our currency is being devalued. So part of it, how's it going to be paid for this? Because we are literally minting money. The ABC act would be funded directly from the Treasury with no additional debt by minting two $1 trillion platinum coins. Additional coins would be minted as needed. So it gives the Treasury Secretary the authority to mint and issue platinum bullion coins. Now, here's the other part that's interesting, because this proposal calls for a digital dollar system by 2021. Some of you are probably going, what in the world is the digital dollar system? Well, I've been following cryptocurrency, and so I am familiar with the digital dollar because it's outside of the normal banking system. But the digital dollar, usually most of the people are used to paying for things with cash, like money, right? But as times have progressed, now we're also paying for it with credit cards. Credit cards are digital, right? But have you ever paid for things with Apple Pay or Venmo or PayPal or Zelle or Cash App, right? So these are all those other ways that people pay for things using their telephone. Same thing with this. What would you do with $2,000 per month? Please leave your comments as we want to hear from you. The Atlas Post is news relating to finances, the CARES Act, relief, stimulus bills, and more for those who like to get tips and hear their news. Thanks for the thumbs up, subscribe, and check out our playlist, The Atlas Post.